So your property isn't selling. Is dropping the price your only option? That's what we're here to discuss.
Welcome to the Real Estate Game Plan Podcast, where we bring you inspiration, actionable steps, and knowledge to build your game plan to take your real estate business to the next level. My name is Demo.
And I'm Derek, and we are licensed real estate brokers and your hosts for this podcast. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Derek.
And I'm Demo.
And we're going to be talking about when is the best time to make a price drop, if at all. So let's just say, for example, you have a property on the market. It is not selling, and you are wondering if dropping the price is something that you should do, or is there another option that would work for you?
Yeah, and typically price is the main driver in any market. Buyer's market, seller market, neutral market. Price is typically the number one factor. But if you're not in a position that you want to do that, are there other options that you can look at? Yes,
there are. And as you mentioned, price always typically tends to be number one, because we know that buyers will buy properties for the right price in pretty much any condition, even tear down condition. But other than price, let's talk about location and condition. Now, I'm going to just say about location, we can't really do anything about that. Mm-hmm. The location is the location, but condition is something to think about. Is the home in move-in ready condition, or are there repairs maybe that have been put off on the property? Are the system units older and maybe it's time for those to be replaced? What is the general condition of the property itself?
Yeah, that really is the only factor left, right? When you look at the price, condition, and location, you can only control two of those, really, unless you're pre-buy. But once you've bought the property, it's in that location, and so the condition of the property. What can you do? What are some things that you can think about? And I don't know what the actual percentage stat is, but I'm sure it's pretty high, and maybe even in the 90s of most people want to move into a property that they do not have to do something to it to have it livable, have it functional, have it safe. And so if you can take care of those things, you're at least in a better position. So sometimes it takes an outside opinion, hopefully of your agent, your listing agent, to come in and say, we really need to address these things in order to have it market ready, have it move in ready. Sometimes it's a good friend to come over or something like that to say, hey, listen, I need you to look at my property and tell me realistically, if you were a buyer in this market for this type of house, come in and tell me with your eyes what you see is wrong, what you see that you don't like, what you see that you would change, what would turn you off from buying this property. Right. And just give them the grace, give them the option to be very honest with you, because this is critical. This could end up costing you thousands and thousands of dollars or time sitting on the market, right? So let them come in, tell you what's going on in their opinion, them or the agent that you have, and address those things if you can. I mean, that's going to be your really only option for the functional safety type items.
Absolutely. And I'll just piggyback onto the end of condition, and that is the marketability or the desirability of the property. Because as we're talking this through, okay, let's just say the condition is great. Everything works. Roof's great. HVAC system's great. There's no items in obvious need of repair, but maybe there's a lime green wall in the living room. Maybe there's an orange wall in the bedroom, or maybe there's a hot pink wall in the next room. There are certain things from a home staging, marketing standpoint of the property that I would also throw into that. And I would say, just going down this road, if you feel like, okay, well, we don't want to reduce the price, maybe that's not, or certainly not necessarily the first plan of attack. Maybe we want to try some other things too. We can't move the property, so the location is going to be what it is. Mm-hmm. The condition, maybe the condition is great. Mm-hmm. And every there's no lime green walls. Everything's agreeable gray or another neutral color that would attract the general audience. look at your professional photos. Look at the write-up, the description of the property. We know it's no secret that buyers are finding properties online in most cases, and so properties that look good in photos, and those are going to be the listings that the buyers want to see.
Yeah, great points, Derek. And from the picture standpoint, if you can think about it like this, the more people that see your property and love it, think it's amazing online, the more people are going to come see it. Hopefully, the more people that make offers, and then the quicker you go under contract, right? Yep. If you have a smaller pool of people who see it and think it's amazing, you're going to have a smaller number of people come and see it and on down the line, right? The more people that see that property without a lime green wall, with a functioning, whatever system written in the words, right, of the description, you touched on that. If the roof is new, if the HVAC is new, if the hot water heater is 2 years old, put that in the description, because from the pictures, I can't tell that. I may be able to see the roof and it looks great, but there are a lot of 20-year-old roofs that look great. So make sure that those words about the things that you're marketing for that property are in the listing words, but then the pictures, like you said, Derek, have to be capturing for the audience that you're going after. Now, condition, if money is not available to repair a condition that's either functional or safety, or to repaint the walls, then you have to kind of shift back, towards that price. I mean, really, that's kind of where that piece of it comes. But I know we were talking about conditions, so anything else on that piece of something that a seller could do other than price drop to be able to market their property or put it in the best light?
A couple of other things come to mind. One is, when you have showings, can't stress enough the importance of that feedback. And I know it can be sometimes more difficult to get it at times. Agents are out showing properties, typically not just one, they're showing multiple, but really reach out for that feedback and try to get it if you can, because that is so priceless to know what a buyer said, because they're a good chance they're not all saying it's overpriced. What else about the property? Because buyers oftentimes will make offers for less than full price. Maybe not the market we've been in the past few years, but in general they will. So just because it may seem overpriced, if a buyer saw it, that may not always stop them from making an offer. So I dig a little bit deeper. And then also, as the seller, what was it about this property that attracted you to it when you bought it? And are we marketing the property highlighting those features? Because it's the property, it's a bit of a lifestyle, the area to think about too. So are we marketing the property in the best light? Certainly. Are you featuring the amazing swim tennis facilities that would attract a person who plays tennis or loves to swim? Or is it close to great shopping or schools? Derek, you were talking about that earlier. So is there something there that would attract a buyer that they cannot see from the picture of your inside of your living room, inside your kitchen, right? So you have to bring those things to light through words in the description, or grab some photos of some of those places. Obviously, follow copyright laws on all of that. But Derek, the other thing I was thinking when you were saying that piece is that seller, you're selling your property, right? We all think our home's amazing. We all love our homes. Probably the inflated value that we all as homeowners give our own home is probably legit, right? But if you have your home listed and it's not selling, a recommendation would be let your agent take you to some other properties that are listed, essentially your competition, similar type properties, maybe in the same neighborhood, same area for sure, and take a look at those with your eyes. Look at the condition of that property and try to look at it as if you were a buyer. Walk back into your house after you've seen these other homes and say, okay, now I'm a buyer for this home. It's your home. And now go through your home and look at it. And that sometimes can give you that little bit of, okay, they actually had this, and this, even though from their pictures, I couldn't tell that, right? So maybe you're dealing with that type scenario, but that may help influence whether you stage the property, whether you fix some things in your own property, paint some walls, do some other things to get it ready for market without having to adjust the price. Absolutely. I love that. I think that's super helpful. And really it's keeping an eye on your competition because, hopefully you looked very closely at a CMA. When you went to list the property, you some sellers will have a pre-listing appraisal, and that may be something. If you have a unique property, it may be best to have a appraisal done on it. But those other active listings in the area are your competition. And so if you've seen those and you think, okay, well, no, I really feel like I'm on the same playing field with them, maybe you consider a home warranty that you go ahead and obtain from a warranty company that, and you agree to provide that to a buyer for 1 year from the date of closing. Maybe it's that you agree to pay up to a certain amount in as a contribution toward the buyer's closing costs. We are seeing that start to come back into play as negotiating is back. So those are things that you could consider as well.
Yeah. I mean, are we back to price? Is there anything else
we typically do circle back to price. There's other things you can do from a marketing standpoint, other things you can offer, but price tends to be the most important factor in the sale of a home, because again, buyers will buy things that maybe we would be a little bit surprised for the right price, because for the right price, maybe it's still a value for them because they're going to rehab the property or whatnot.
Yeah. And I think sometimes as sellers and agents, we have to just think about two numbers. One is the appraised value of the home, right? Like what an underwriter, what an appraiser, what someone would give someone a mortgage to be able to buy that property, what they're telling you it's worth. Right. And the other thing is the market value, right? What a buyer, what an active, ready, willing, and able buyer is willing to pay, willing to write down on an offer for your property. And if you're consistently getting multiple offers from multiple buyers for a price that is maybe really close to each other, but lower than your price, that is what the market is telling you it's worth. It's not what an appraiser is telling you it's worth necessarily. I mean, even though, technically that should be factored in, right? But that is what the buyers are telling you your home is worth in the market conditions that we have, whatever those market conditions are. So, condition, definitely a factor. If the condition of the home is poor, then you're going to have to adjust your price based on that. If the condition is fantastic and the location is great and the price is where it needs to be, then you may just be looking at some time on market. We just went through some numbers. We're around 37 days here in Metro Atlanta, days on market average. Yep. So also having those realistic expectations where it was 3, a year, 2 years ago, right? So you also have to know what's happening in the market. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously, your agent should be able to guide you through all of those things. But it typically, if those other things check off, then price is going to be the driver, through the marketing conditions. Also, your motivation. Do you need to sell quickly? Well, then price is going to be the lever that you're probably going to pull the quickest. If you need, if you can be on the market for a while, maybe price isn't that, because who knows what's going to happen in the market. But
right. And if you are getting consistent feedback that there maybe is, it is an issue with the property itself. Yeah. It is a condition issue. Get estimates to see how much it's going to be to repair that. It might be that it may be less expensive to have that item repaired to bring it up to a condition that is in good working order and so forth and appealing to buyers versus a price drop. Price drop can be for any amount that you agree to, but that would be definitely something that I would be thinking about as well. That's
a great point. Having the home in ready condition, move-in ready condition also includes the systems, right? Those items that could have a big ticket item repair, but like you said, go ahead and have it done before you go to market, because a buyer can negotiate, like you said, any amount of money, especially after the home inspection comes, right? Home inspector goes through there, says this hot water heater is old, needs to be replaced. Most likely the buyer's not going to be shopping for the most budget-friendly water heater at that point. It's going to be, hey, this is the price to do that work, and here's now what you need to reduce this price to. So even after you're under contract, the price can still be moving, right? Can still move down. And so you also want to look at it from that standpoint before you even go under contract.
Absolutely, because a buyer may ask for a $10,000 price reduction as a result of what you're talking about, a home inspection. But if you actually were to get some estimates for what it would actually cost to make those repairs, it may only be $5,000. Yep. So, but, time is money. And so if a buyer is going to have to go through the process of having the things fixed, the items fixed after closing, that they may ask for a little bit more for that. So, every market's different. Looking at those comps is so helpful, but it could also help in terms of just the price of the offers that you get. You have a glaring issue from the beginning versus everything appears to be in move-in ready condition.
Yeah. So reduce the price, repair the property, get it ready for market, and the location, the three things that we just talked about today. It's up to you on which items that you look at, but we hope we gave you some compelling advice. Any final words, Derek?
Absolutely. And don't forget about the marketing. I know we did talk about it, but photos, descriptions, is this a property that is catching the attention of buyers? Because again, it's not all about the price, even though the price is super important. With online buyers today, if you are not having showings, that property then is simply just not appealing to buyers online to the point that they would actually make an appointment to come see it. And that is a problem.
Or it is severely overpriced, right? Yep. One of those two. So, well, we hope we gave you some good points today and some good tips. If there's anything we can help with, please let us know. And we thank you for listening and watching. You've been listening to the Real Estate Game Plan Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening.